So last night when I was on like hour 12 of driving from basically San Antonio to Breckenridge, Colorado, I I stopped at the library, and how smart is this? I don't know why I never thought about it before. My car is really old school, like manual everything, manual windows, stick shift, and I still have a CD player. So I stopped and I got some audiobooks, and I got New Earth, I think it's called, by Eckhart Tolle. And I was listening to it on the way up, which was amazing. I fucking love him. I love the way he talks. I love his cadence. I love like everything. The way I guess he doesn't really laugh in that, but when you watch him on YouTube and he laughs, like it's just contagious to me anyway. But um he was talking about this thing, and I was like, oh my God, yes. Where he was talking to a lady, and she'd had this horrible childhood, all, these horrible things happened or whatever. And he said, like, when this, this is not verbatim, I was really tired, but he said basically that she kind of, there was like a dark cloud or something when she started talking about this stuff. And he was like, well, let's go into it. She didn't want to, and then she went into it, and she was like, it basically just made her so unhappy to go, like, like going, she was going into that unhappiness. And Eckhart Tolle was like, so there's unhappiness there in your past. Can you not be unhappy about the unhappiness being there? And I was like, oh my God, like I I wish there was a deer on the side of the road that I could have like pulled over and said, "Did you hear that?" Because yeah, it, it's like there's unhappy stuff, like my life is not perfect, but what it what I don't do is I don't get pissed off anymore that there are things that I'm unhappy about. Does that make sense? It's like I've had so much trouble verbalizing that. Like by and large, there are really fucking beautiful and amazing things happening in my life. And there's some stuff about it that I don't like. Okay. And about that stuff, I go, it is what it is. Um, but I'm not spending a lot of time ruminating on how pissed off it makes me that there's like unhappy stuff there. I just like look somewhere else, or go do another thing. And I'm not avoiding the emotions of it, right? So I cry, believe me. And sometimes when that unhappy feeling comes in, it it's overwhelming, but I let the emotion go through. So I'm not ignoring that it's there. But if I'm just like constantly sitting here, like looking at that shit that makes me unhappy over there, when there's other cool shit over here that makes me happy, like, why am I doing that? What? And I was like most of my life, like my whole life, maybe even. So this can't be a phenomena that is like, especially if Eckhart Tolle wrote a book, addressing it. um there's shit that you don't like, but like I and this was the hardest for me because part of me actually felt guilty about being joyful, and so whenever I would feel joy, there was this asshole in my head. And sometimes it was my voice, and sometimes it was other people's voices, and sometimes it was my voice put there by something I heard somebody else say, right? Whatever, there's that voice. And it's like, how could you be happy? Like, how could you be happy at a time like this? And I would listen. I'm like, wait a minute, like, why not? Why can't I? I don't know. So it makes me think of like in rehab, we learned DBT skills. Okay. So DBT skills are, I don't know, like a whole lot about it. I got to show you guys this because I realized it's like making my face turn colors. I don't even know if that'll look right. Yeah, it's a crystal. Um, and there's a little light thing underneath it that lights up. But anyway, alcoholics, addicts, fucking humans, everybody's addicted to something, whether it's 3D reality or what. But um, we tend to have all or nothing thinking, right? So it's like there's this unhappy thing over here in the corner of my life, and I'm going to stare at it and focus on it because it makes me unhappy. And it doesn't matter what's going on all around here. I'm focusing on this one thing. It's like all or nothing. And, a DBT skill is knowing that like two things can be true at one time. So you can be unhappy about something and still be able to be happy in other scenarios. Like, ready for this? This is where I get a little selfish, but one of the things that I really took and ran with is that, I became kind of slovenly in the past few months of my drinking, and I just didn't look good, because I wasn't healthy. But anyway, so when I got out of rehab, even if I wasn't having a good day, um, I would make it a point to try to look presentable. And then on top of that, even if I wasn't totally presentable or I didn't feel like, getting dressed or whatever, I started getting my nails done after I got out of rehab. For that matter, it's like I can be not dressed to the nines, but like I can look at my nails and it's just something like that it's not all or nothing thinking. Like I'm gonna look all kinds of like shit, you know. Um anyway, I don't know. I love that because it really put into words something that in my experience, like I have trouble explaining to other people. And then I'm like, well, I don't really care if they don't understand it anyway. But like, yeah, there's stuff I don't like, but I try not to focus on it. I do tend to ignore it. However, I don't squash emotions down when they come up, but I focus on the things that make me happy. And then here's an interesting thing. What makes me unhappy sometimes and is and has gotten better, you know. Anyway, that felt worth sharing. So have a great day on earth. Peace. Namaste.